Good afternoon. So there's a new conspiracy going around YouTube that figured I would try to head off at the pass because this is getting old, folks. It's really getting old. When you set out to make content for YouTube, if it involves news, information, stuff like that could be very valuable, possibly even life-saving for someone, keep the whole I gotta have clicks, I gotta have anything I can get to get attention, I've gotta do anything, I gotta stretch everything as far as the mind can stretch it so people will click. Stop. I mean, really. A little bit of self-control. Just try. So I've seen a number of videos about this airplane crash that happened just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. 5 individuals unfortunately lost their life in that plane. And because of where they were going, who they were, and all of that, now we've got the internet in a tizzy with conspiracy. And none of these people that are out there making content on this right now are looking into any of it, are trying to actually figure out what could have happened, or anything like that. They're just taking the little bit of information they have, and believe me, it's just a real little bit of information that they have. And now all of a sudden it's blown up in some big grand conspiracy. You know, not only is it disgusting for you people just to keep coming on YouTube and lie after lie after lie, as long as people will click your content and keep coming back, that's bad enough. But how disrespectful is it to the friends and family of these 5 people that lost their life when all you're concerned about is how you're going to make out at the frickin' end of the month on YouTube monetization? That is disgusting, you are sickening, and you need to stop. Squirrel Tribe is the one on the grand conspiracy. Now I'm going to call the fucking channel out. Enough is enough. There's been several channels making content about this. Stop. Damn, a little bit of self-control. Fucking little bit. Just try. It is so frustrating. There are people that rely on accurate news and information. There are some people in some instances where their lives could rely on accurate information. But to sit here and use the loss of these 5 people to propel your channel further with some conspiracy bullshit, enough is enough. Grow the fuck up. We've got an article here. I'll leave a link to it in the description of the video. I mean, this is ridiculous. And this is just an article I pulled up. I didn't go looking for a particular article. This is the one that I clicked on. Literally, I did a Google search, and first one, boom. I didn't go picking for news so that I could run on YouTube and I could say the most extravagant thing to get people to click. Because that's all that matters. All that matters in life is how we look to everyone and how much money we can make and how popular we can make ourselves, and that's all the only thing that matters. God. It wears on a person. It really does. I don't come here for me. I don't do this for me. Never did. Not from day one. But it's those out there with the good hearts, with the good intentions, with the honesty, with the integrity, that it gets stepped on to no end by people that don't want to be honest, that don't want to put out an effort, that don't want to try. We're the bad guys. It gets old. Let's take a look at the article real quick. I'll read to a certain point in the article. I'll try to sum this up. On Wednesday afternoon, police confirmed reports of a plane crash near the Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport in Little Rock. Around 12:02 p.m., officials were alerted to a twin-engine plane that crashed by the 3M plant on Walters Road. Officials say that all 5 people on the plane died during the crash. The plane, a twin-engine Beech BE-20, was departing from Clinton Airport when the crash occurred, according to the FAA. Now, I did bring up a picture of one. This is one of our Air Force's BE-20s. But I just wanted you to get an idea of what the aircraft was like, about what size it would be. You see that it's a twin prop engine, plane. It's not giant. It's not a little bitty single-person plane or two-person plane, but it's not some big giant aircraft either. It says all of the people on the plane, including the pilot, were employees of CTEH, which is a consulting firm that provides response services including environmental data collection and management, GIS, safety, incident management, industrial hygiene, toxicology, and human health consulting for public and private sectors. So you can see where the conspiracies are going to start. Let me just continue on, then we'll deal with that. We're incredibly saddened to report the loss of our Little Rock colleagues, said Dr. Paul Nani, Senior Vice President of CTEH. We ask everyone to keep the families of those lost and the entire CTEH team in their thoughts and prayers. The plane was headed towards John Glenn Columbus International Airport in Ohio. A spokesperson for CTEH said this group was responding to an incident at a metal plant in Bedford, Ohio. Okay? So this particular plane wasn't even going to East Palestine. CTEH was previously working in East Palestine after the train derailment, according to the EPA. The last statement here says, says there's currently no information on what caused the crash. Last statement I was going to worry about covering here. During the time of the crash, wind gusts were reportedly as high as 40 miles per hour at the airport. That's very important data. Now, the people that are looking for clicks on their YouTube channel would sit there and point out this sentence right here. There's currently no information on what caused the crash, and they would run with it and say, oh, you see, they're trying to cover something up. No, that's called procedure. And if you were making content to provide people with information versus trying to make an idol of yourself or whatever the hell you're trying to do, then you would understand that that's the way it always happens. They never release information until they have an investigation. It's policy. It's policy. There's so many plane accidents that have happened that we've all heard about in the news and stuff that they're still investigating. They don't just run out and give knee-jerk opinions on what happens in plane crashes. They don't do that. And I'm glad they don't. I'm glad they don't. So, will they be able to tell what happened in the plane crash? Well, they might be able to get a good indication. Now, I doubt that particular aircraft would have had a black box, if you will. So that means that they're not going to have all that particular type of flight data. But I have a sneaky suspicion as to what it was. It was stated right in the article. And I have a feeling that the NTSB probably suspects that, and that's probably where this is going to go. Not some big grand conspiracy that corporation or the real, company or somebody was trying to take out these people so they wouldn't be in bed or whatever. Stop. Control yourself. That's not a big plane. A 40-mile-an-hour wind gust on that plane is very, I'm going to say that again, very significant. That's a big deal. A 40-mile-an-hour wind, especially if you're just taking off, that's going to get nasty for a plane like that. Now, we had a storm move through here yesterday. And this is the storm that moved through yesterday. And it packed a wallop. When it got here, I thought it was going to start bringing trees down. The neighbor's trash can was in our yard. Have no idea where the little recycle can went. It was literally like 4 or 5 feet in the air, flying through the air the last I saw it from the storm that came through here yesterday. So if I were to assume that they dealt with something similar in Little Rock, that thing was packing a wallop. Now, this is still going to come down to pilot error. And I don't mean to make that disrespectful or anything like that. It is what it is. Because it should have, and we can always hindsight this, right? So don't think I'm trying to come down on anybody. I'm not. Because this is always hindsight. But it was the pilot's decision whether or not to take off, whether or not to commit to taking off, or whether they should wait a little bit and see what the weather does. All of that was within the pilot's control and the pilot's sole decision. Apparently he chose to take off. He may have ran into a situation, once again, where like we dealt with yesterday, because as this storm came through, okay, the Mississippi River divides Illinois and Missouri, okay, so it goes along this black line here. When it came across the Mississippi River, it was a pretty damn weak storm. It was pretty weak. There wasn't much there. It was pretty weak. As soon as it crossed that river, as I've always said, they typically do, they start building again. And so between the time that it crossed the river to the time that it hit our town, it had actually blown up pretty good, and there might have been a hook echo going on there. I'm not sure. That's why I nabbed the GIF of the radar, was because of that. So that could have been a similar situation as well. Maybe the pilot checked the radar before disembarking. Maybe he saw a storm, but it didn't look that bad, so he decided to go ahead and take off. That's very possible. There was a very unfortunate event that happened some years ago in Lake of the Ozarks involving some of what they call the ducks. They're these they take people on tours. They're kind of like half truck, half boat kind of things that literally drive on the road and in water. And they looked at the radar before they left, and they saw stuff coming in, but it was nothing significant. And they've done tours in much more inclement weather than that, so they thought it was just a non-issue. But by the time they got in the water, the situation had changed, and that storm had gotten nasty. It had gotten extremely nasty. There are a lot of people that lost their lives during that accident. Very, very tragic accident. But it happens. That's unfortunately the way it goes. Sometimes Mother Nature isn't quite so forgiving. And I think that's exactly what happened here. I don't think there was a conspiracy whatsoever. I think it's a very, very unfortunate, tragic accident. And my heart, my prayers, my thoughts go out to all those that were involved. But those of you that are trying to find stories to try to whatever the hell it is you're trying to do. Please. 5 human beings lost their life here. They deserve a little bit more respect than using them for a channel catapult or whatever the hell you want to call it. Shalom.